All right, I'm going to call the Justice Committee meeting to order. Our first item of on the agenda is the approval of the November 1st, 2022 regular meeting minutes. Can I have a motion to approve? I have a motion by Member Bell, a second by Member Schaefer. Any additions or corrections to those minutes? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right. Next item on the agenda is appearance by members of the public. Do we have any?
We've had no requests for this
Okay.
meeting.
All right. Next item is the items for action and item for information. I know some of you guys are new, so I just want to explain to you a little bit about my committee and what I do. When I first attended a county board meeting, this was in 2011, the first meeting I ever attended, I thought I could ask questions at a committee meeting. And I remember the chairman of that committee sitting there and looking at Bill Wasson, who was the county administrator then, and said, Mr. Wasson, will you please instruct the new member that if he asks questions, he needs to ask them before the meeting, okay? So that's not the way I run these meetings, but that is not bad advice, okay? There are times that if you have questions about something, it's a good thing, about anything that's on the agenda. Your first point of contact should be Cassie, and I'm sure she would love to sit down and answer any questions that you might have about the agenda or something else that's on the agenda. But I do allow questions. I do want you to know that. So, but there are times when it'd probably be prudent if you would get the questions asked beforehand, okay? So, there's times when that's a good idea and times when, you should ask questions here. So, just wanted to say that to let you know. If anybody has any questions about the Justice Committee, any of the new members, or they have any concerns or complaints even, you can tell me about them. So, love to hear them. You can take the complaints to Cassie and the compliments to me, okay? So that's the way we'll do that. But anyway, with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, first item on the agenda is item 4A, Don Everhart, McLean County Circuit Clerk. We have no items for action. We do have one item for information, his monthly statistical reports. I see that Don's not here. Okay. The Don Everhart, the Circuit Clerk, is unable to make it. The statistical reports are in your packet. They're a good thing to review. If you have any questions, you can contact Cassie about those reports, okay? All right, yes, Member Schaefer.
I just want to make a comment about those reports too, is that I believe it was in like June, July, sometime late summer, early fall, where I had asked Mr. Everhart to explain some of the things that are on these reports, so there's really a good explanation. I'd have to go back and remember which Justice Committee meeting but that's in the Justice packet. So if the new members want to understand a little more about those reports, there's a really good explanation in that packet.
Anybody else? All right, so yeah, if you do have questions, you got to raise your hand because I may not see you. So I'm trying to scan the room and make sure I get everybody included. All right, we have nothing under item 4A. The next item for action is item 4B, Molly Evans, Children's Advocacy Center Director. All right, the first item for action is item 4B1A, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2022 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance. Can I have a motion to approve? Motion by Member Schaefer, a second by Member Abraham. Ms. Evans, would you like to discuss that?
This is just really cleaning up the budget at the end of the year. We've gotten multiple grants that have been brought before committee throughout at least the last 6 months. So I just added that revenue into this budget amendment here. Happy to answer any questions, though, that you might have about it.
Does any member have any questions?
Mine's is not a question. I toured your facilities. I thought your presentation was wonderful. I get a more perspective, and I would encourage all the new members to go and take a tour of what you do over there and how you get things done.
Any comments or questions? All right, we're going to be voting on action item 4B1A. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, next item on the agenda is item 4B2A, monthly statistics. Ms. Evans, do you have anything you want to say about them?
I don't really have anything further. Obviously, we're just always going to be a month behind on our stats, but again, happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Does any member have any questions? All right, seeing that, anything else you'd like to add? All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 4C1, Will Scanlon Circuit Court. Item action 4C1A, request approval of an amendment to the Neutral Site Custody Exchange and Supervised Visitation Center Agreement. And can I have a motion to approve? Motion by member Bell, second by member Tompkins. Mr. Scanlon, would you like to discuss that?
Yes, and then I'll have a couple of remarks at the end for the committee. For the new members of the committee, the neutral site operates through the Children's Home and Aid program on State Street. It offers the court, actually participants in the family, juvenile, and divorce courts, an opportunity to have a location to have a supervised visitation center where non-custodial parents can have visitation with their children where they're otherwise court-ordered to not have contact with the other parent or the child. It also allows a site where persons can exchange those children. Those are always cases where persons are having difficulty maintaining a civil relationship with their significant other or the parent of the child through and are involved in the court in one manner or another. So it's a program that operates in multiple counties in central Illinois, McLean County being the largest, but it also operates in several other counties in the area.
Does any member have any questions? All right, seeing none, we're going to be voting on item 4C1A. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, we have nothing else. Do you have anything you want to add?
I just want to add, welcome to the new committee members. My name is William Scanlon. I've been the court administrator here in McLean County for 26 years. We're base of operations is in the Law and Justice Center, but we also offer arbitration and mediation services on the fourth floor of the health department in a separate facility. I would be happy to have any of you or all of you come through and tour the operations, attend a drug court or recovery court or veterans court session, come to a graduation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have via email or phone. And I would just encourage you to become familiar with the operation. I'll be followed by the state's attorney, Ms. Reynolds, Mr. Lewis, the public defender, Mr. Donovan, the director of court services. We were just ran over from a meeting regarding the Pretrial Fairness Act, which was amended on Friday, and it has been a task all the departments in the Law and Justice Center have been working on diligently since July. And here with about 21 days left, we get to pivot and figure out what the amendments mean. So it's an interesting time.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Scanlon. Next item on the agenda is item 4D1A, Matt Lane, McLean County Sheriff. All right, item 4D1A, request approval of intergovernmental agreement between the County of McLean and City of Bloomington for booking services. And can I have a motion to approve? I have a motion, I don't care. Can we combine all three?
They're all in different intergovernmental agreements, but I think they've done it both ways. It is a yes.
I read all three of them then?
Yep.
combine all three? Okay. All right, I'm gonna, Member Schaefer's asked to combine items 4D1A, B, and C, and so we are gonna combine them. Item 4D1A, request approval of intergovernmental agreement between the County of McLean and City of Bloomington for booking services. Item 4D1B, request approval of intergovernmental agreement between the County of McLean and Illinois State University for booking services. And item 4D1C, request approval of intergovernmental agreement between the County of McLean and the Town of Normal for booking services. And can I have a motion to approve? Motion by Member Schaefer, second by Member Abraham. Sheriff Lane, would you like to discuss those?
These are just our standard agreement with these agencies. They're a yearly thing. Nothing has changed about them from the last few years. It's the same numbers, just to pay for the booking of the people they bring into the jail.
Does any member have any questions of the sheriff? Member Bell.
Yes, when you're booking someone, is there an hourly rate on booking costs
No,
for
ma'am.
the jail?
No, ma'am, not that I'm aware of. It was a number that was handed to me yesterday that I got to see. And I don't know how that number was, how that was concluded to be the number. But the chief deputy and I have discussed reviewing this for next year to see if there's a formula, a better formula we can use to make it make sense on how much we charge, like a standard rate. I think, for instance, Bloomington was around $16 per custody. But there's more. The normal pay has fewer custodies. They pay more per custody under this agreement. But we're looking at a way to try to even it out and make it more equitable across the board.
Okay, you're doing DUIs too along with that. So once the person is arrested, they're taken to Normal. Then after they're booked, they're going down to the county. You're aware that they're coming. How long are they have to stay with the prisoner to have you guys process them?
It varies. It varies by the cooperation of the custody and how soon they can get someone there to pick them up and bond them out. And part of the reason we're not sure where to go with this is that the Safety Act, excuse me, the Safety Act is going to make DUI a non-detainable offense. And because it's a non-detainable offense, as Mr. Scanlon said, we've been working to try to figure out a process. We don't believe we're going to be bringing most of those arrestees or those people cited for DUI into the jail at all at this point. But there are varying opinions, and we're still working on that. So I'm not sure how that Safety Act is going to affect the amount of people that come in or the time that they spend there. And no one's been able to give me that answer.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Does any other member have any questions? Member Tompkins?
Sheriff Lane, generally is the booking does the intergovernmental agreement break even in terms of costs, or is it an effort that we're taking a loss on with each booking?
You know, I'm not positive. I'm thinking that we're certainly not making any money. That's for sure. We're not making any money on it. It's just it helps to bring in something for all the booking that we do.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we will be voting. I should say, Sheriff Lane, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, sir.
Okay. Seeing that there are no other questions, we're going to be voting on items 4D, 1A, B, and C. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, next item on the agenda is item 4D1D, request approval of the IDMIA Annual Maintenance Agreement Addendum Quotation. And can I have a motion to approve? Motion by Member Abraham, second by Member Bell. Sheriff Lane, would you like to address that?
This is our yearly maintenance agreement with our Identix machine. It's the electronic fingerprint machine that we use to book people in, and get responses about their identity. So that's all it is.
Any member have any questions? Member Bell?
Once again, what's the turnaround time for IDing someone with this new technology that we've had it for a while, but what is the turnaround time? Do you have to keep someone in custody for hours and hours until you get a hit back?
Normally, no. It's usually within a few hours, and it takes a while to book someone in and to get them settled wherever they're going to be while they wait for a bond or whatever. And then and by the time they leave, normally we have that back. I don't know if I should give you a time. I'm thinking a few hours. Sometimes it takes more. It just depends on, I think, on their system and how overloaded it is at the time.
Does any member have any other questions? All right, seeing none, we are going to be voting on item 4D1D. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, next item on the agenda is the Sheriff's Monthly Statistical Report. Sheriff Lane, is there anything you'd like to say about that?
No, I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Does any member have any questions? All right, seeing none, the other spot is other. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, this is my first meeting of any sort. Welcome to everyone that's new, and I'd like to get to know each and every one of you and work together with you. So hopefully we'll have a chance to do that soon, and thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next item on the agenda is item 4E, 1A, Erica Reynolds, McLean County State's Attorney. The action item is item 4E1A, request approval of appellate prosecutor contract with the Office of the State's Attorney's Appellate Prosecutor. And can I have a motion to approve? Motion by Member Abraham, a second by Member Bell. State's Attorney Reynolds, anything you'd like to say about that?
This is just the standard contract that we enter with the appellate prosecutor's office so that they can represent us on all of our appeals. And this is the typical contract, and they do this for us every year. And then they also are a resource for us if a unique legal opinion presents itself in a case. They are available to reach out to and analyze that with us long term to possibly avoid issues in the future with that particular case.
Any member have any questions? Got the mic on there for you. All right. Yes, you're welcome. Does any member have any questions? All right, seeing none, we're going to be voting on item 4E1A. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, next item on the agenda is item 4E2A, which is an item for information, caseload and forfeiture fund reports. State's Attorney Reynolds, would you like to say anything about that?
Not to be redundant, but to remind everybody that was previously on this committee and the newer members that the numbers do look a little different than they have in years past, but it's because the courts have changed their accounting system, and so now when you're stopped on the side of the road and you receive 3 separate tickets for 3 separate fractions or violations, that's all now encompassed under one case number as opposed to 3 separate case numbers. And so the numbers aren't technically down at all. They're consistent with where they've been in the past.
Any member have any questions?
All I would like to say is thank you for doing this, trying to track each case number for each violation, like no tags, parking light out. Those are all generating new things, no license. So you're saying that that's all under one case number, right?
Right. So in the past, you would receive three different tickets for, like your example, you would get 3 separate tickets. Those would be 3 separate case numbers. Now those are one case number, and then just counts 1, 2, and 3 within that same case number.
It was the Illinois Supreme Court that changed that, wasn't it? Changed the way we had to
Yes.
count that.
Yeah.
It was a directive from the Illinois Supreme Court that said this is the way you have to report this. So that's all they're doing is complying with what the Illinois Supreme Court has told them to do. Any other questions? All right, seeing none. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, I just want to take the opportunity to thank the Justice Committee, the McLean County Board, and specifically County Administration for all the hard work that you guys did, the previous board did on the county budget with some of the issues that the Safety Act has presented for our office, the logistical issues. We came begging for more resources, and the board definitely delivered for us and came through, and county admin took repeated phone calls from me and meetings with me and listened to my annoying request and trying to explain the issues that we're going to be presented with come January 1. So I really appreciate all the hard work that has been done and accommodating those issues without raising taxes on the taxpayer.
Now, I know you're going to say, well, Chuck, it was in the budget. Didn't you read the budget? But I mean, could you give us some examples of some of the things that were done?
Yeah, so with the Safety Act, there are going to be additional requirements that our office has to follow. And with that, we requested 2 additional legal assistants and 1 additional attorney. And so that was one aspect of that. And then the other aspect of that was our office had been losing people to surrounding counties, surrounding areas because of pay. And in restructuring our office and request for additional funds, we have been able to compete, or will be able to compete with some of our counterparts in this general area. So it was multi-faced. There were several issues that were addressed within that one budget.
Thank you. Does any member have any questions about what she just said? Where am I at on other? All right, I think that's it. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 4G, Ron Lewis, Public Defender. Oh, I forgot Kathy. Forgive me, Kathy, please. All right. Nobody forgets Kathy Yoder. All right, next item on the agenda is item 4F, Kathy Yoder, McLean County Coroner. We have no items for action, but we do have an item for information, her monthly report. Coroner Yoder, would you like to say anything about that?
It's explainable, but in this past week, we've had 3 traffic fatalities. So if everybody could wear their seatbelt, drive the speed limit, and obey stop signs, that would be great.
Does any member have any questions about the monthly report? I see anything else you'd like to say?
My babies are 6 months.
Oh, nice.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Ron Lewis, Public Defender. I should take those all separately. They're all separate individuals, right? Okay. Item 4G1A, request approval of a contract between John J. Busan, Special Public Defender, and the Public Defender's Office. And can I have a motion to approve? What? What did I do?
She's asking if we can do them together.
That's what I just asked.
If there's no objections, they are different. So I'm having-
Well, they are different individuals.
Hearing no objections, you
All right, does, Member Schaefer has asked politely if we can combine these 4 items. Does anybody have any objection? All right, so I'm going to read all 4 of them. Item 4G1A, request approval of a contract between John J. Busan, Special Public Defender, and the Public Defender's Office. Item 4G1B, request approval of a contract between Jeff Brown, Special Public Defender, and the Public Defender's Office. Item 4G1C, request approval of a contract between Michael Dubé, Special Public Defender and Public Defender's Office. And item 4G1D, request approval of a contract between Craig Queen, Special Public Defender, and the Public Defender's Office. And can I have a motion to approve? Motion by Member Schaefer, second by Member Bell. Mr. Lewis, would you like to discuss those?
Yes, these are annual contracts with outside counsel that we use and have traditionally used for a lot of years when we've had conflict cases where we in the office can't represent somebody. We have somebody on standby one of these contracts. And over the years, they've also developed for some overflow. So, I mean, I'm going back years and years, but instead of creating another full-time attorney somewhere along the line, we've augmented our office with some of these contract people here. These are the same contracts as last year, and I think the year before. The only thing is that there are 4 of them at this point. We usually have 6. 2 attorneys have elected not to renew their contracts. I may be seeing you early next year when I find some replacements.
Does any member have any questions of our public defender? Mr. Abraham, or Member Abraham?
Yeah, so I see on, I believe, under the duties of the Special Public Defender, it states that they'll receive a maximum of 12 felony cases per month. How often are they given 12 cases a month? Or are they usually given less than that?
With Mr. Busson, he's the one with 12. He has 12 over the years. Historically, he was available to us when we were in a pinch at one time and was able to take on more. So his contract is a little bit bigger on 12, and we usually do get 12 or close. And it's also that if there's 11, one month, we'll do 13 the next month and just kind of even it out. The other contracts are a little bit different. Mr. Brown he handles post-conviction cases. That's kind of a different animal with lots of research and after appeals and things like that. But Mr. Dubé, his contract is for 7 a month, and we usually use all 7. Kind of a floating thing to it, but yes, they have been used. And then Mr. Queen, he's in our juvenile abuse and neglect, which is a little bit different than criminal. But that's some of the minor differences you'll see in the contracts. But Mr. Busson with 12 has been a dutiful worker for us for some time.
Thank you.
Any member have any additional questions? Member Tompkins?
Yes, sir. Are the attorney caseloads within your division, are the caseloads per attorney onerous, or are you meeting the demand such as it is?
They fluctuate. We like to think that we are meeting the demand. We are in a pretty decent county here, and McLean County has taken care of public defense appropriately here, but there are changes. I can tell you we are down 3 attorneys right now, so we're all kind of covering for each other a little bit. So that I could, if you have numbers, they're a little bit fluctuating. They're fluctuating. And also, as Ms. Reynolds said, the different record keeping that's required by the Supreme Court has put some different numbers. So last year's numbers and this year's numbers are a little bit apples and oranges, and we're still functioning with that.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we combine those 4, right? That's what I did. All right. We're voting on items 4G, 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, next item is an item for information. It's the caseload report of the public defender. Mr. Lewis, would you like to say anything about that?
This is our standard monthly report. I don't really have any comments on that. I'd be
Does
willing to
anybody
answer
have
your
any questions? All right, we're under other. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think I already covered it. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is item 4H, Mike Donovan, Court Services Director. First item on the agenda is item 4H1A. Okay. Request approval of an agreement with Chestnut Health Systems to provide services through the Problem Solving Court Program. And can I have a motion to approve? Motion by member, is it Roseman Mendoza? Am I saying that correctly? Okay, thank you. Yeah. And member Schaefer. Mr. Donovan, would you like to address that?
This is the yearly contract with Chestnut we get money through the Board of Health to provide services for our problem-solving courts, recovery court and drug court specifically. And this agreement helps pay for part of the staffing and the treatment services that we receive through our department.
Any member have any questions? Member Schaefer.
Yeah, thank you. I know that this is funded through the Board of Health. And when we were, had our presentations and for fiscal year 23 or calendar year 23 funding, one of the comments that the behavioral health manager from the health department made comments about was the fact that there's challenges with Chestnut and providing the services for both drug court and recovery court, and that they did not have an individual even serving them. And there's been some concern about that because the individuals then, I think, from what I was told, are sitting in jail waiting for some of these services. And so, and over the last couple of years, I've, heard from the judges too about some of the issues with this. And my question is, what are we looking at? Are we looking at other providers? I know there's other providers that may be interested in doing this. And so, because if you look at the numbers on the referrals to, especially recovery court, from what I understand, is fairly underutilized because of some of these issues. And what are we doing it's a diversion tactic. So to be able to satisfy the service need that's here in the especially courts, especially when we're looking at potentially having a family treatment court with substance use. So this has been a challenge that I've heard about for several years. And so I'd like to see what we're looking at to serve these individuals.
Well, we have, when I say we, meaning myself, my deputy director, and the court, the judges that preside over these courts have met with the providers and discussed the gaps in services and their inability to meet what the court feels is the needs of these services, which is mainly doing quick and efficient assessment of people. The quicker we can assess, the quicker we can decide where they belong for services, whether it's recovery court or drug court, and then the quicker we can get them out of jail into a plea and then into a court. And that's been the biggest struggle, is the inability to have a consistent evaluator that could provide a unbiased assessment to place people in the correct court. And we've struggled with that. We struggled with that prior to COVID, and then since COVID, we've struggled with them having staffing and having the ability to keep that pipeline moving. And so we have contacted, and I've been in contact with other treatment providers and have had preliminary conversations with them regarding maybe getting an independent assessment person. but we haven't gone any further. Nothing formal has happened yet. I know we did, at one point in time, the court had, I think the court had applied for a grant to try to get funding to provide that service, and that did not pan out. But we have had conversations since then about trying to figure a way to do this. And our last conversation, we had ran out of time this year to try to approach the Board of Health and try to see where we could, move money and get money, additional money if needed. And so it is on our radar for the beginning of the year.
So you're going to pursue this as the year goes on and not going to wait till next year to try to do something?
Correct. We had a number of meetings and had some promising meetings with another provider, and then those conversations fell apart. And then we were left very late in the game this year, to pursue it before the end of the year. So that is our intent. We just had a Zoom meeting a couple weeks ago with the health department and the treatment providers, and we're going to have an initiative to explore that right away, starting at the beginning of this year, to make it a project and a goal for before this comes up next year, to have something in place.
Thank you. I think that this is, like I said, a diversionary technique that we used, and is, fairly successful to keep people out of jail and out of DOC. And so I think that the more we can do to expedite any changes, I think the better off we'll be. Thank you.
Correct.
Any other questions? Member Tompkins?
Just briefly heard during the assessment phase that one of the goals was to quickly assess these individuals to get them in the right direction. I was curious as to whether a quick assessment will produce the desired outcome. Sometimes mental health can be complicated, and a quick assessment may not uncover all the layers to a particular case.
Yeah, and I guess maybe timely should have been a more accurate word used. That the assessment process is the process it is. The tool that the provider uses is a uniformed, accepted, validated tool. And so it's just getting that person in front of the evaluator to complete the tool in a timely manner, instead of them sitting in jail for months waiting, is what I meant. And so the process itself takes the amount of time it would take, whether it, like you said, if there's somebody that it's an in-depth assessment needed, then the professionals take care of it that way.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we will be voting on item 4H1A. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Next item on the agenda is item 4H1B, request approval of an agreement with McLean County Center for Human Services to provide services through the Problem Solving Court Program. And can I have a motion to approve? Motion by Member Abraham, a second by Member Bell. Mr. Donovan, would you like to discuss that?
Yes, this is our part of the same package deal. This is our contract with Center for Human Services. Center for Human Services provides caseworkers for recovery court, and basically this contract just pays for their time coming to the courthouse for staffing and for recovery court each month. And that's all Center for Human Services involvement is, besides treatment. But all we're paying for in this agreement is their caseworkers coming here to go to staffings and that.
Does any member have any questions? All right, seeing none, we'll be voting on item 4H1B. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Last item on the action part of this is item 4H1. Yeah, 4H1C, request approval of an agreement with the Center for Youth and Family Solutions to provide services through the problem-solving court program. And can I have a motion to approve? A motion by Member Tompkins, a second by Member Roseman Mendoza. Mr. Donovan, would you like to discuss that?
Yeah, this is the third out of our package deal with the Board of Health, and we contract with Center for Youth and Family Solutions to provide MRT, which is more recognition therapy, which is a type of cognitive behavioral therapy that the clients take and work on criminal thinking, and we've contracted with them for years for this service.
Does any member have any questions? All right, seeing none, we'll be voting on item 4H1C. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, last item is an item for information here. It's Court Services Adult Juvenile Division Statistics. Mr. Donovan, is there anything you'd like to say about that?
No, the reports are pretty standard. I know they're new to some of the new members, so if you do have questions, I'd be happy to answer them or explain them, or if you wanted different information you felt was pertinent to help you with what you do with justice, just let me know and we can, these are moldable. I can give you what you want.
Any questions? Member Bell?
Veterans Treatment Court, I see you only have 7 on the list. I thought we would be serving more.
So did I. Just to put it that way, yes, we have 7 in McLean County. We have our Veterans Court is a little different than our Recovery Court and Drug Court. Our Recovery Court and Drug Court are county-run programs. Our Veterans Court is a circuit-wide program, so we run it in partnership with the other counties in this circuit and actually have a judge out of Woodford County that presides over that. And yes, the numbers that we even projected in our Veterans Court grant for inclusion are considerably lower. We're doing considerably lower numbers than we thought we would. When we did a grant proposal, we're about 43% when I report to SAMHSA for my intake rate. So we're about less than half of what we thought we would do when we first put this court together. I don't know if I have a good explanation why, except for some things weren't taken into account when the original proposal was put together, the amount of people that would choose, because it is a choice to come into the program, would choose not to come in, and that number is probably the highest number of refusals or exclusions that we have, and second highest would be those that did not qualify for services through the VA. Even though they're veterans or military, they didn't qualify for health services through the VA, then they don't qualify for our program the way it's designed. So.
All right, any other questions? Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, just like the others, I would invite anybody here that if they want to visit us at Adult Probation, Court Services, Adult Probation, Juvenile Probation, and the Juvenile Detention Center. And I would encourage you to, if you wanted to tour the detention center, I would encourage that. And just anybody can reach me and we can set that up for you. The judges just toured it last month. Again, and anytime they have new judges, they go out and tour the detention center. So you're welcome to do so. Or like I said, if you want to come over and shadow somebody in my department, we can set something up. So you have an understanding when we sit here what we actually do over there. We'd be welcome to do that.
All right, thank you. Last on the agenda, but certainly not least, is our County Administrator, Cassie Taylor. Anything you have to add?
Thank you, Chair Erickson. I have no items for this committee.
All right, next item on the agenda is other business and communication. This is where members have sometimes said their piece, and I mean, be respectful, but other members have said their piece at this point. But one thing I would like to ask this committee is, Cassie would be, oh, no, not another tour. But I mean, Justice can go tour some of these things too, okay? And we can put together a tour if everybody would like to get a tour put together to go see the jail and go see some of that stuff. So if you're interested in doing that, I would certainly entertain it. I think that would be a good thing for us to do. I mean, let Cassie or let myself know that that's something would you let me know if they let you know? Don't tell me. All right. But, I think that's something we probably should do. And I think it'd be educational for everybody. It certainly seems the department heads are shaking their heads. Yes, we want to show. We want to show everybody this stuff. So that's something we should do. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say? Member Schaefer.
I would also like to agree with that, because I think the last time this committee went on a tour of either LJC or JDC has been many years. And so there've been, and I know that Property Committee also does tours of some things, but they don't actually go inside the departments that this committee has oversight for. So, because I don't know if any of you others are on Property Committee or not. So I do think that it would be a very good thing to help the new members understand what actually takes place in some of the departments.
Is anybody interested in that, just by a show of hands? I mean, you want to put something together?
I would be happy to, Chairman Erickson.
Thank you.
If we go as a committee, it will be a special meeting, and we will be bound by all the rules and regulations that we do when we get together as a group. So that adds a little caveat to it.
Yeah.
We will have Julie coming with us to take minutes.
Julie loves it.
So we will schedule something. We'll do a doodle poll or some sort of way to check your schedules to see when there would be a time when you're available.
All right. Anything anybody wants to say? Just one last thing. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm easy to talk to. I know. Except with Member Bell, but anybody else, I'm easy to talk to. So, please feel free to ask. It'd be great if you did. Last item on the agenda is item 6, and that's payment of the bills and transfers. You probably received in your mail today the invoices, which are attached to your email when you get your County Board Justice Committee packet. You can look through these. If you have any questions, feel free to ask Cassie beforehand. But we do approve these bills at the end of the meeting. And these bills, where's my letter from here it is. I have a letter from our auditor that says she has reviewed the bills and that she certifies that all comply with McLean County Board adopted ordinance, resolutions, and policies is made available to her in the county code, and that said claims against the county are fully documented. And the county auditor recommends payment of the claims submitted for approval. So can I have a motion to approve the bills? Motion by Member Tompkins, a second by Member Abraham. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We are adjourned.